year 1980 was a quiet storm for soft rock. Smooth voices, warm guitars, and songs that felt like open windows on a summer night. Tracks like Sailing, Biggest Part of Me, and Lost in Love once drifted across every radio, soundtracking drives, daydreams, and slow dances before time quietly pushed them aside. Can you name these 20 forgotten soft rock hits of 1980? Sailing, Christopher Cross.
Wind is right, you can sail away. Find tranquil.
Sailing glided through 1980 like a breath of calm. Soft guitar, warm synth, and a voice so smooth it felt like floating. Christopher Cross captured escape in its purest form, turning quiet reflection into one of the most peaceful hits of the year.
Sailing takes me away.
The song was huge, yet over time it drifted out of everyday memory. Maybe it was too gentle, too subtle, or simply overshadowed by flashier hits that followed. But the second those opening notes play, it all comes back. The calm, the clarity, the feeling of letting go for just a moment.
Soon I will be.
4 Grammys later, Sailing remains one of soft rock's purest achievements, a quiet classic that deserves to be heard again. Biggest Part of Me, Ambrosia. Biggest Part of Me floated onto the charts in 1980 with smooth harmonies, gentle keyboards, and vocals that felt warm enough to wrap around you. It is soft rock at its most polished, a love song built on gratitude rather than heartbreak. Everything about it feels easy, confident, and effortlessly melodic.
You're the biggest part of me.
The track was a hit, yet it gradually slipped out of the spotlight as trends shifted and louder styles emerged. It does not shout for attention, it simply glows, and that quiet approach meant it faded from memory faster than it deserved. But the moment those harmonies return, recognition hits instantly. Today, it sounds as smooth as ever, a gentle reminder of how rich and warm soft rock could be when every part of a song worked in perfect balance. More Than I Can Say, Leo Sayer. More Than I Can Say drifted into 1980 with a sweetness that felt instantly familiar. Leo Sayer's bright vocals and the gentle sway of the melody made it one of the most comforting soft rock songs of the year. Simple, sincere, and built on a chorus that stays lodged in the heart long after the music stops.
I'll miss you every single day.
The song was a major hit, yet somewhere along the way, it slipped behind bigger names and louder productions of the decade. It does not rely on flash or complexity, so it faded quietly as the years moved on. But once those opening chords begin, listeners remember exactly why they loved it.
I love you twice as much tomorrow.
It remains a timeless reminder of how powerful simplicity can be, a warm, easygoing love song that still shines whenever it returns. Let Me Love You Tonight, Pure Prairie League.
Clouds are blowing in the wind.
Let Me Love You Tonight eased into 1980 with smooth guitars, soft harmonies, and a warm country rock glow that felt perfect for late evenings. Vince Gill's gentle vocals carry the song with effortless charm, turning a simple melody into something comforting and memorable. It is relaxed, romantic, and unmistakably tender.
Let me love you tonight.
The track reached the top of the charts, yet it gradually faded from everyday playlists as the decade pushed toward flashier pop styles. It never demanded the spotlight, which meant it quietly slipped behind more dramatic hits. Still, the moment it plays, the calm and warmth return like an old friend. Today, it stands as one of soft rock's most soothing moments, a peaceful reminder of how gentle and heartfelt the genre could be. Hymn, Rupert Holmes.
Over by the window, there's
Rupert Holmes' song, Him, arrived in 1980 with a smooth groove and a story that unfolds like a scene from a late-night drama. Rupert Holmes delivers each line with calm confidence, while the melody drifts between soft rock and quiet suspense. It feels warm and cool at the same time, a gentle sound carrying a tense tale of doubt and discovery. The song was a hit in its day, but it never stayed in the larger cultural spotlight the way Holmes's other work did. It is subtle rather than flashy, driven by storytelling rather than big production. As trends shifted, it slowly slipped into the background, remembered mostly by listeners who lived through its first run.
No one gets to get it for free.
Revisit it now, and the smooth rhythm still holds up beautifully. A clever soft rock mystery wrapped in an easy listening shine. I Can't Tell You Why, Eagles.
Look at us, baby, up on.
I Can't Tell You Why glided into 1980 with a cool late-night elegance. Timothy B. Schmidt's smooth vocals float over a soft blend of guitar, keys, and a gentle beat that feels almost weightless. The song carries a quiet ache, the kind that comes from trying to hold something together even as it slowly slips away. It became a standout on its release, yet it often gets overshadowed by the Eagles' bigger, earlier hits. It is softer, more soulful, and far more restrained than the band's stadium-sized classics. Over time, it faded from the spotlight, even though it remains one of the most beautifully crafted tracks in their catalog.
Every time I try to walk away.
Play it today, and it still feels timeless, smooth, reflective, and full of emotional clarity, a rare moment where the Eagles traded their usual edge for pure softness. Heart Hotel's Dan Fogelberg. Heart Hotels entered 1980 with a thoughtful, poetic calm. Dan Fogelberg's voice floats over soft keys and gentle guitar, creating a mood that feels both warm and quietly bittersweet. The song moves like a slow walk through your own thoughts, filled with small reflections and tender emotional weight. It was admired on release, yet it never reached the wide recognition of Fogelberg's more famous hits. Its subtlety worked against it in the long run, and it gradually slipped out of the spotlight. But the moment it returns to your ears, the softness and sincerity shine through again, reminding you why his songwriting connected so deeply.
There is nobody living inside.
Today, it feels like a gentle rediscovery, honest, introspective, and beautifully arranged, a quiet treasure from the early 80s. Desire, Andy Gibb.
In a world that's ever turning.
Desire arrived in 1980 with a polished, rhythmic pulse that carried the unmistakable Gibb family sound. Andy's vocals glide effortlessly over a steady beat and shimmering production, creating a mix of soft rock warmth and pop sophistication. It feels smooth, confident, and full of late 70s energy drifting into a new decade. Despite its strong chart performance, the song gradually faded from public memory as musical trends shifted and Andy's spotlight dimmed. It does not have the same cultural footprint as the Bee Gees' biggest hits, even though it shares their unmistakable melodic style. Still, once the chorus begins, it immediately rings familiar. Revisiting it now reveals a track that still shines with charm and emotional lift, smooth vocals, a memorable hook, and a sound that perfectly bridged eras. Give Me the Night, George Benson. Give Me the Night lit up 1980 with a smooth mix of soft rock, jazz, and dance floor polish. George Benson's silky vocals glide over warm guitar lines and sparkling production, creating a sound that feels both sophisticated and instantly inviting. It is upbeat without being loud and stylish without trying too hard. The song became a major hit, yet it often gets tucked under Benson's broader jazz legacy rather than remembered as a defining soft rock moment of the year. It sits at the crossroads of genres, which means it slowly drifted out of the spotlight as radio formats tightened and trends shifted. Still, the groove remains unforgettable the moment it returns.
We'll feel the rhythm of the evening picking us up high.
Play it now, and the energy is still irresistible, smooth, bright, and full of late-night charm. A perfect example of how soft rock could blend elegance and rhythm. Into the Night, Benny Mardones.
If I could fly, I'd pick you up.
Into the Night arrived in 1980 with one of the most powerful vocal performances of the year. Benny Mardones pours everything into the chorus, lifting the song into a soaring mix of longing and intensity. The melody rises and falls like a late-night confession, carrying an emotional weight that soft rock rarely reached with this much force.
I'll take you into the night.
The track became a hit, yet over time it slipped out of regular rotation as softer and smoother songs took its place. It was too dramatic to blend quietly into background playlists, so it lived on mostly in memory. Still, the moment that the chorus hits, listeners remember exactly why it stood out. Hear it now, and it remains a stunning reminder of how much passion soft rock could hold. A voice, a story, and a melody that refuse to fade. Lost in Love, Air Supply.
Realize the best part of love is the thing.
Lost in Love floated into 1980 with soft harmonies, gentle piano, and the unmistakable romantic warmth that made Air Supply a defining force in early 80s soft rock. The song feels weightless and sincere, like a quiet moment shared between two people who are finally speaking from the heart. It is simple in the best way, letting emotion lead the melody.
Lost in love and don't know much was a thing.
It was a major hit, yet over the years, it became overshadowed by the duo's later power ballads. Bigger productions and more dramatic choruses pulled attention away, leaving this early gem tucked deeper into their catalog. Still, the moment it begins, listeners recognize that unmistakable Air Supply softness. Revisit it now, and the tenderness remains untouched. Light, graceful, and full of nostalgia for a quieter moment in soft rock history. Steal Away, Robbie Dupree.
Come on and hold me.
Steal Away slid into 1980 with smooth yacht rock polish and an easygoing rhythm that feels like a warm breeze on a late summer night. Robbie Dupree's mellow vocals glide over soft keys and gentle guitar, creating a relaxed groove that invites you to drift along without a worry. It is effortless, breezy, and instantly calming.
Why don't we steal away?
The song was a solid hit, but as the decade moved toward bigger production and flashier pop, this kind of understated smoothness faded from the spotlight. It became one of those tracks people know by feel rather than by title, a half-forgotten gem that brings back memories the moment it starts.
Dig it tonight.
Play it today, and it still glows with that unmistakable soft rock charm, polished, mellow, and perfect for slow evenings. Pilot of the Airwaves, Charlie Dore.
Pilot of the Airwaves.
Pilot of the Airwaves arrived in 1980 with a bright acoustic glow and a storyteller's heart. Charlie Dore's voice carries a warmth that feels personal, almost like a late-night radio host speaking directly to you. The melody is simple and welcoming, wrapping around the lyrics with gentle charm. It is soft rock at its most heartfelt. The song earned radio success, yet it slowly slipped out of mainstream memory as the decade turned toward bigger and more polished productions. It never chased spectacle or dramatic flair, which meant it faded quietly behind louder hits. Still, the moment it plays, listeners remember its comforting sincerity. Today, it stands as a sweet reminder of the softer side of early 80s pop, honest, melodic, and surprisingly emotional in its simplicity. All Out of Love, Air Supply.
Lying alone with my head on the phone.
All Out of Love arrived in 1980 with one of the most heartfelt choruses of the decade. Air Supply's signature blend of gentle vocals and soaring harmony creates a sound that feels both intimate and sweeping. It is a song built on longing and vulnerability, delivered with a softness that makes every line feel honest.
Away from these long, lonely nights.
The track became a major hit, but as soft rock evolved into bigger power ballads, this quieter and more delicate classic slowly slipped into the background. It is loved by many, yet rarely mentioned first when people talk about the band's biggest hits. Still, the instant that the chorus begins, the emotion returns like it never left. Revisit it today, and it remains beautifully intact. Romantic, aching, and full of early 80s warmth, a defining soft rock moment that still knows how to reach the heart. Let My Love Open the Door, Pete Townshend. Let My Love Open the Door came out in 1980, shining with bright synths, and Pete Townshend's unmistakable voice delivering a message of simple hope. It is uplifting without being loud, catchy without being flashy, and built around a melody that feels instantly welcoming. A rare moment where a rock legend stepped back from intensity to create something warm and undeniably joyful. The song did well on release, yet it gradually drifted behind The Who's massive legacy and Townshend's more dramatic works. It is lighter than what people expect from him, which means it often goes overlooked. Still, the moment that chorus hits, the positivity and charm snap back into place. Today, it remains one of the most refreshing soft rock singles of the year. Bright, sincere, and impossible not to hum along with. More Love, Kim Carnes.
Let it pursue, don't hesitate.
More Love entered 1980 with Kim Carnes' signature rasp wrapped around a tender, emotional melody. Her voice gives the song a raw edge while the arrangement stays soft and steady, creating a mix that feels both vulnerable and strong. It is a heartfelt cover that turns quiet longing into something warm and deeply human. The track earned recognition, yet it often gets overshadowed by Carnes' later explosive success. Bigger hits took the spotlight, leaving this earlier gem tucked deeper into her discography. Still, once it begins, the sincerity and soulful texture return instantly, reminding listeners how powerful her voice was even before her chart-topping moment.
When you need me, I'll be here.
Hear it now, and it still resonates with emotional clarity, simple, honest, and full of feeling. A soft rock treasure that deserves much more attention than it receives today. Dreamin', Cliff Richard. Dreamin' arrived in 1980 with bright production, a smooth pop-rock pulse, and Cliff Richard's effortless vocals carrying the melody with confidence. It feels hopeful and clean, the kind of song that moves forward with a gentle stride rather than a dramatic push. Warm, polished, and instantly singable. The single performed well, but over time it slipped behind Richard's larger body of hits and the bigger sounds that defined the decade. It is not flashy or overwhelming, which means it quietly faded as the years passed. Still, once those first notes begin, the familiar charm returns right away. Revisit it now, and it still shines with smooth arrangement and classic soft rock spirit, a feel-good track that captures the easygoing side of 1980. Should Have Never Let You Go, Neil and Dara Sedaka.
Your beauty steals my breath away.
Should Have Never Let You Go entered 1980 with gentle warmth and a unique charm thanks to the father-daughter duet at its core. Neil Sedaka's seasoned tone blends with Dara's youthful sweetness, creating a soft rock ballad that feels heartfelt. It has a simple melody carried by genuine emotion. The song saw chart success, yet it slipped into the background as the decade moved forward and musical trends shifted. It never aimed for dramatic flair or big production, which meant it quietly faded behind louder hits. Still, the moment it begins, its tenderness becomes unmistakable.
I should have never let you go.
Today, it stands as a gentle reminder of how soft rock could capture honest, family-centered storytelling, warm, melodic, and quietly touching. Hold On, Kansas. Hold On brought Kansas into 1980 with a softer, more spiritual edge. Steve Walsh's vocals carry a sense of urgency, wrapped in tenderness, rising over gentle guitar lines and warm harmonies. It feels reflective and comforting, a moment where the band traded their usual thunder for something more intimate. The song charted respectably, but it never reached the legendary status of Kansas's earlier hits. It was quieter, less grand, and far more personal, which meant it slowly slipped out of the spotlight as rock trends grew louder and heavier. Yet the message and melody remain unmistakable once they return to the ear. Listen today, and it still carries emotional weight, offering a calming moment within the band's catalog, a thoughtful, soft rock gem that deserves more replay. JoJo, Boz Scaggs. JoJo stepped into 1980 with a smooth mix of soft rock, jazz influence, and late-night city groove. Boz Scaggs delivers the vocals with cool confidence, while the instrumentation glides along with polished rhythm. It feels like neon lights on a quiet street, relaxed but full of style. The song earned chart attention, yet it gradually drifted behind Scaggs' bigger hits from the late 70s. It carried subtle sophistication rather than flashy hooks, which meant it faded from the spotlight as the decade shifted toward brighter pop. Still, the moment it plays, its unmistakable groove snaps right back into place. Revisiting it today reveals a track that still shines with charm and smooth craftsmanship, a perfect closer to the forgotten gems of 1980 soft rock. These songs may have slipped from memory, but one listen brings them right back where they belong. These were the soft rock favorites of 1980, songs once played everywhere before quietly slipping into the background. Which one hit you with the most nostalgia? Share your pick in the comments, hit subscribe, and join us next time as we revisit another smooth and unforgettable moment in music history.